Hello everyone, Michael the Librarian of Magic here, finding and cataloging the magical and pointing you to it. Today is October the 12th, and I have yet another Disney villain drawing for you, as I'm doing one every day for the entire month of October. Today's villain is a little bit of a deep cut, and I'm always happy to shine a light on these, as you know, so I'm excited to share a little bit today about Mr. Snoops from 1974's The Rescuer, or 1977 rather, The Rescuers. The principal voice acting was recorded in 74, but the movie eventually debuted in 1977. Very happy with this drawing. I think I got the likeness down. It was very fun to draw, and he's a really cool character that many may not know about. He was principally animated by Milt Kahl, who I've talked about many, many times. He's basically a sidekick or a quote-unquote business partner of Madame Medusa. They're trying to get this Devil's Eye diamond in the film, and they kidnap this girl, Penny, because they need her to try to, her size, to try to procure the diamond. Snoops is a coward. He's afraid of Medusa. He's afraid of her pet American crocodiles, Brutus and Nero. He tries to be villainous and harsh at times, but he fails to do so. He doesn't put up very well with Penny's back-talking and sass and stuff, and she's not afraid to give it to him. He spends most of the movie trying to look over her and lose track of her and try to regain her and all that stuff, and basically makes Medusa ticked off in the process. He is sort of just a bumbling sidekick kind of guy. In the end, he basically abandons Medusa. Their riverboat goes down, and he's floating around on this chunk of driftwood, and she's kind of sinking into the swamp, and he, rows off and kind of laughs at her like, "You're on your own, bye." And after that, his whereabouts are kind of unknown. We don't know if he ultimately got arrested in connection with Medusa or what. It kind of is left on an unknown note in the end. Mr. Snoops was voiced by an actor named Joe Flynn, who's pretty well known. He did a lot of work with Disney in their live-action comedies over the years during the period, the 50s and 60s and 70s. He played Dean Higgins in 3 different movies. The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, Now You See Him, Now You Don't was another one, and also The Strongest Man in the World. He played Haversham in The Love Bug. He played Rex Williams in Son of Flubber. He played Francis X. Wilbanks in The Barefoot Executive. He played Cyrus Hershberger in Superdad. Finley Hooper in The $1 Million Duck. So he was in a lot of these comedies, kind of recurring. He had a pretty nebbishy look. That's why he probably did the Dean Higgins thing so many times, and why they chose him to voice Snoops. Tragically, Snoops was his last role. He did the voice work, like I said, in the early 70s, and he died before the movie came out. He reportedly had heart failure while he was swimming in his pool at home, and unfortunately didn't make it. So he kind of had a tragic short life in a sense. He was also very well known for, probably most known by people of a certain generation, for his role in McHale's Navy. He was very recognizable in that show. And he also guest starred a lot on Batman 66, the Adam West series. So in 60s TV and films of the 60s and 70s, he was definitely a known quantity, and he worked with Disney quite a bit. Another really fun thing about Snoops is, for the actual look of the character, the animators based him on this guy named John Collane, who was a journalist and a Disney historian who was always coming around the studio to get information about, the next upcoming projects and all that stuff. And he would always poke his head into the studio and ask a bunch of questions about what the animators were working on, and he would bug them from time to time. And the animators took to calling him Mr. Snoops because he was always bugging them and trying to get information from them. And, that nickname stuck, and he basically became this character. What they did basically took to doing is playing a practical joke on him. They would figure out ways and tricks of getting him to do poses and mannerisms and actions that made him an unwitting live action reference for this character, that he didn't know that he was being referenced, and they were sort of tricking him into doing these poses and stuff, so that they could get reference for him. And then obviously the nickname Mr. Snoops stuck, and eventually this character became called Mr. Snoops in the film. And as you can see from all of the photos here, they did a really good job of getting his likeness and all of that stuff, and the poses and stuff. One would assume that he was probably incredibly flattered by them eventually putting him in a movie, that it seemed like sort of they were picking on him, but it would seem like a really in good fun, loving gesture, and it was really cool to have that in the film. Another little tidbit that I ran into is that there's a character named Elmo St. Peters who runs a junk shop in the film The Brave Little Toaster that many have said bears a resemblance to Snoops. You can see for yourself, decide for yourself if you think there's any sort of inspiration from Snoops for this character, Elmo St. Peters. I can kind of see it a little bit, but then, honestly, they're not that similar to me. I don't know. You decide. Let me know what you think. Do they look really that similar or not? Let me know. Anyway, that's sort of, this is kind of a little bit of a shorty, but hopefully you enjoyed some information here about Mr. Snoops from the film The Rescuers, which is one that I really like, and I don't feel like kind of gets enough attention sometimes, and certainly not this particular character. But I really enjoyed looking up the career of Joe Flynn. I liked the story about John Collane and the reference stuff, so hopefully you found that interesting. I know I did. Thanks for joining me on this. I hope you enjoyed the drawing. I was particularly proud of it. Join me tomorrow when I'll have another one of these, and one every day for the rest of the month of October. I hope that you're having a great day and that this added a little fun Halloween treat to it. And join me again. Thanks for always watching, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.